for week 2 of the Ross Report. Got a couple lines of business here. Let's get the betting and gambling stuff out of the way. First, we'll start with the tailgate parlay. As usual, not great. 3-3 on the official parlay. The biggest loser was Tyler. He needed, I think, 4.5 for South Carolina. They lost by 30-ish, something like that. So Tyler definitely the biggest loser. I got fucked over. I had 28.5 on Oregon. They were up 34-0, put in the backups, and then Northwestern ripped off like an 80-yard fucking runner pass. So I got doinked on that one. And then Paul, he'll tell you that his real pick that he was UTSA, which he picked at the tailgate. But the OG pick was Ohio State 28.5. They hit 28. So 3 losers this week. Paul and Tyler obviously are the biggest losers, and then I got fucked over. So that's the tailgate parlay. This week we're cooking though. All right, let's get Mandy's out of the way. So the pick 6. This is probably one of the ones that are all the ones she. First of all, she almost picked the Chiefs. Tyler talked her out of it. She almost picked the Saints. Tyler talked her out of it. So if either of those team wins, the parlay is less because Tyler talked her out of it. She's going Bengals, Bills, Lions, Broncos, Cardinals, all money line. It's basically 8-1. So 5 will win you 40. Last week, the folks in this chat that participated, I made them close to $1,000 combined. Everyone that made the bet. Paul hit for $450. I hit for $250. Eric hit for $250. Mike hit a portion because he backed out on one of the legs. But I gave you the roadmap to $1,000 last week. We're doubling up this week. I'm giving you a roadmap for the group to $2,000. 5 is going to win you 563. Now there's a 20% boost on DK. That gets a little higher. But we're doing anytime touchdowns, and this is what I cooked up. Jamar Chase, anytime. Kyren Williams, anytime. A-Chain, anytime. Jalen Hurts, anytime. King Henry, anytime. The kicker, Quinshon Judkins, anytime touchdown. Now, last week we had 2 goal line opportunities against the Bengals, and we put a guy in named Rocket Sanders. That's real. We signed him 3 days earlier. So he's not getting the goal line over our number 2 pick. So goal line touches are going to go to Quinshon. He's plus 550 for an anytime touchdown. So even if you don't want to add him on the parlay, which is going to get you 563, do a little side bet for $10, make you a quick 60. You might even double down and do both bets. So next week we'll be talking about the 2K I brought into this group. So 5 to win you 563. That's my 6-leg anytime touchdown payday. I don't call the parlay. It's an anytime TD payday. Once a week, I'll give that to you. All right. Let's jump into faux real. That's why we're all here, right? Last week, great week. The way the schedule set up, the last couple of years we tried to do, Yahoo's just not helpful when it comes to creating schedules the way we do it. If anyone wants to know, basically Yahoo doesn't allow me to just select play everybody once, and then the remaining games you double up in your conference. So I have to manually go in and make the schedule, and it was just a pain in the ass. I used ChatGPT this year. It was fucking awesome. It was easy, but it doesn't give us like the first 3 weeks as conference, the last 3 weeks as conference, and then we interconference the rest of the year. So it's kind of just hodgepodge. So last week, I played out of conference. It looks like everyone played out of conference. And I think we're doing that this week too. So here is what week 1 looked like. Popping messages here. The first one we'll talk about is Hubba versus Eric. Now, there's a big question going into week 2. And before I talk about this game, I'll ask you the question. Which is more embarrassing? Losing to a guy that had no first-round pick, or being a guy that had 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and then losing? Which is worse? My opinion is if you have 2 1s and 2 2s and lose, you probably shouldn't be in the league anymore. It's shouldn't be allowed. But losing to Hubba is bad. Losing to Hubba without a first-round pick is criminal. And that's what happened. Eric thought he had a chance going into the last game. But looking at the matchups, Baker, I told you Baker was going to ball out last week. He did. He outscored Jalen Hurts. Zay Flowers came up for Hubba. That's where Hubba really, Hubba won by 16. Zay Flowers gave him 25. So that's the biggest difference. Keon Coleman got that touchdown in the second half that really helped Hubba push it over. And then, A.J. Brown not showing up is kind of what cut Eric's throat. So close game. Hubba got the dub. So that's what happened in that one. Game 2 was a close game. It was Paul and Daryl. Looking at the matchups here, Paul started Trevor Lawrence over Dak, which was, at the time, I'm like, damn, man, I'm not a Trevor Lawrence guy. I think he's very overrated. I mentioned some guys at the tailgate that when the Browns quarterback situation doesn't work this year, not that Flacco's horrible, they're going to flack around to find out. But he's old, so you got to do something. I don't think they like any of the quarterbacks a ton. Sellers got hurt last night. Arch is Arch. Nussmeier, they're just average. I wouldn't put it past the Jaguars to want to move off Trevor Lawrence if he continues to be average. And I think the Browns are just the person to get fleeced, just the team to get fleeced. Looking at 2 1s and a couple of 2s to get Trevor Lawrence and be average. But that being said, Paul did start him over Dak. Ended up being a great start. Lawrence didn't play great, but he got 13, which is double what Dak scored. And if he would have started Dak, he would have lost the game. That's the math of it. Matchup-wise, Mahomes was big for Daryl. Kamara played good for Daryl. But he got almost nothing from Nico, which, like I love CJ Stroud, but their offensive line is so bad. It's got to be slants and 3, boom, 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 throw. He don't have time to do anything. So that's going to be a continued struggle for anyone that's playing Texans. Swift didn't do much for Daryl. Chase Brown had a good first quarter for Paul, but the Browns D shut him down. But he still got 12 points, 12 from Brock Bowers. I think he's injured, though, so going forward, that probably sucks for Paul. But overall, 13 from your kicker for Paul is also huge, and 11 from your defense in Jacksonville. So the truth is, Paul stole that one. Daryl's team severely underperformed, but that's what happens in fantasy. Paul made the right pick with Trevor Lawrence over Dak. 7-point difference, won by 6. There you go. Great move, Paulie. All right, up next, closest game of the week. Might be the closest game that we have all year. It was separated by half a point. It was the Dream Boys, Dreamcocks, and Mike. So looking at the matchup, Mike, I thought Mike had it wrapped going into the late game. I really did. Lamar had played huge for Mike. Saquon looked good. Hubbard looked good. Almost 17 from Hubbard. Kelsey showed up, which has been a couple of years, but he had the touchdown, so he had 12 from Kelsey. The problem is, though, is Bijan balled out. JSN balled out. Purdy had 22, which is more than he's supposed to. But 19 from Garrett in the flex is huge. And then 11 from your kicker. So very close game. I don't know that there's really much Mike could have done. Got flex was good. There's nothing even on the bench for Mike. So, it was just 2 teams both showed up. And then Strausser's and Bill's team walked out with the dub. So doing the math so far, that is 2-0 for the South over the North. 2-0. I'm sorry, 2-1 because Daryl sucks. 2-1. All right, next game on the list is Phil versus Tyler, and I asked you the question, and I'll ask you again. How do you have 2 1s and 2 2s and lose and not even put up 100? He put up 93. Phil beating by scoring less than 100, and he still beat Tyler by 5 points. Well, let me tell you how that happens. 1, you take Jared Goff over Jordan Love. I told him when he did it, it was dumb, but he's a guru, right? Jamar Chase. Now, you have to take Chase at 1. There's no way around that. And it's not Tyler's fault that Jamar Chase went up against the best defense. His words, not mine. The best matchup, his words, not mine. There's 100 videos of people asking him who is the toughest player to go up against. His toughest matchup, it's Denzel Ward every single time. No questions, he says. It's not mine. Is that Tyler's fault? No. But when you know Jamar Chase is going against probably the best man-to-man corner in the league, you got to get more from your quarterback. You can't get 13 from Jared Goff. So let's go see who's on his bench. CJ Stroud. Again, Stroud guy, but the offense just isn't there. You pass on Jordan Love twice. Jordan Love balls out. Maybe you win a game. Actually, the math is you would have won the game, but you didn't. He's drafted Kendall Walker ever since he's been in the league. That's his favorite running back. He tried to trade him. He loved him so much he tried to trade him to me yesterday. He got less than 4 from Walker. Big game from Debo. Laporta played well. But again, when your best player, Jamar Chase, has less than 4 and your quarterback's Jared Goff, you're probably not going to win many games. And then looking at Phil's team, Same thing happened to him. He started Joe Burrow. He ran into the buzzsaw, the Browns defense. Fucking Myles Garrett owns that guy. But 13 from Jacobs, 19 from fucking, Javonte Williams. That's the Javonte Williams thing. 20 points from him. And that's really the biggest difference. He beat Tyler by 5. You got 20 from Javonte. So that's another game where the South stole it. But a lot of that goes on Tyler for thinking he's smarter than everybody in the room. I got 2 1s and 2 to rely my squad on Jared fucking Goff. I mean, come on. The answer to the question, by the way, is it's absolutely more embarrassing to have 2 1s and 2 2s and to potentially start off 0 2. That's the other thing we're going to talk about is this week. Next game on the list, 2 and 2, by the way. South got that one, so we're 2 and 2. Next game was Al versus Niall and Tim, the purple football team. Another close game. Al won by a point, 1.06 points. Matchup wise, only getting less than 5 from Pickens killed Niall. Travion, who they drafted very high. I think they got him in the second round on the turn. So, very high pick, 8 points, which it's respectable for running back, but a guy that high, you need him in the double digits. Let's see, only 2 points from the Pittsburgh defense. And I had to hear Tim talk about how great the Pittsburgh defense is. Pittsburgh hasn't won a playoff since TJ Watt's been in the league. That's just a fact. So their defense is good, but they're not the kind of defense. It's weird. It's like the Browns. The Browns are the best defense in the league. The stats tell you that. They got 4 points last week. The scoring on defense is stupid. We know that. I don't know there's a way to fix it. But if you hold Joe Burrow and the entire fucking, there's 3 first-round picks in fantasy on that roster and a second-round pick. And they got held to a total combined 20 points for all of them. So Pittsburgh only giving you 2. I know they got a good D, but points-wise, they're not going to do it. Same with the Browns. I'm going to play the Browns every week because I'm me. But they're not going to give me 20 points. So looking at Al's team, Al's team, you look at it, it shouldn't be good, but you got Derrick Henry. That's going to keep you in games. That's really going to keep you in most games. Derrick Henry scored almost 30. He would have scored 30 if it wasn't for the lost fumble in the fourth quarter that cost him the game, but he finished with just over 28. But Tyrone Tracy is his other starting running back. He had Brian Thomas Jr. flex, who did okay, 8.5 points. And then Drake May did enough. Jaden Daniels last week had 22 points, but Drake May gave him 18, kept it close, and that's really all he needed because King Henry came in and dropped that 30 burger on him. So Al got the dub, won by a point. So it's 3 and 2 for the North if you're counting. One more game. It was myself versus Jeff. Close game for the most part, but Jeff put up 80 points. Now, in Jeff's defense, 81 points. In Jeff's defense, he had no picks for an hour and a half. So he put up a hell of a fight. But I told you Josh Allen was going to ball out. Josh Allen legacy game, put up 42 points. Justin Jefferson was subpar, extremely subpar quarterback play in the first half. Gave me 13. Ladd McConkey was running wide open for at least 2 touchdowns, and Herbert missed him. He's not going to miss him anymore, but I got almost 11 from McConkey. I got 1 point from Jerome fucking Ford because of Rocket Sanders. Vultured his touchdowns. Horrible play. But, again, Jeff's team did nothing. Bo Nix, 10 points. Devontae Smith, 3 points. Evan Ingram, 3 points. Calvin Ridley, 4 points. He did get 14 from Denver's D, but just wasn't enough to beat me. He told you in that cute little video did, at the end, he was like, the Lion Kings, the London Lions. He named all these names that had to do with lions, but he left out the real name. He's the Lion King. He lied to you. He's going to consistently lie to you. Said he was going to wax me. I beat him by 16 points, and I didn't even score 100. So the London Lion Kings were put on notice, just like the entire league. Once Quinshawn is up and running, it's a fully functional fucking Death Star, and I'm just going to smoke everybody. If I make it out of week 2 undefeated, I don't know that I lose a game. This is the last chance you guys got to get me this week. So that's what happened week 1. Let's hop into week 2. Some fun matchups. We'll start with Hub and Paul. Again, North-South. Can Paul lose to a guy without a first-round pick? Well, Yahoo doesn't think so. Yahoo's got Paul favored 121 to 104. He's starting Dak this time. So again, let's see the flip flop. Let's see if Paul is as smart as he thinks he is. Um, Last night he was touting his South Florida pick, talking shit. Phil made it was like, "Hey, dude, I took Miami." Paul literally laughed and then got waxed. So hopefully that doesn't happen to him this week with the Dak Prescott play. But it would be funny for Hub to beat him and start off 2-0 without a first round pick. But let's hit those matchups. Zay Flowers isn't doing 25 again. I just told you that Denzel Ward's the best cover corner in the league. He's going to be on Zay. Zay's not going to give you 10. So Hub is in trouble there. Keon Coleman, that touchdown second half, not that it's fluky, but that's not something that's going to happen. So I don't see Keon Coleman hitting double digits again. I do like Jonathan Taylor play. I think Breece Hall is going to be underrated again this year, so he'll get 30 points from his running backs combined. And he's got Montgomery on the flex. Now, Montgomery's predicted to do 12. I don't think, he's going to grab those. And the funny thing is that Paul's top player, Jamar Gibbs, is going to vulture that shit. So I think the Montgomery, Yahoo thinks Montgomery scores 12. I think that's overplayed. I think he's closer to 7 or 8. Looking at Paul's team, it's going to be a bounce back for Paul. T. Higgins against Jacksonville, it's going to get him 10 points. Probably going to get a tutty. Courtland Sutton is a steady Eddie. I had him last year. I mean, he's never going to be the 30 or 40 point guy, but he's going to give you 10. So expect 10 to 12 from Courtland Sutton. I think Jahmyr Gibbs has a big game against Chicago. He's projected to do 17. I think he hits the 20, maybe 2 touchdowns. And I think Chase Brown will also get the goal line stuff. So because of Jahmyr Gibbs and Chase Brown specifically, I'm going to take Paul. But and Prescott's playing the Giants, which is a good matchup. So I just don't see any scenario unless Jalen Hurts drops a Josh Allen game last week and gives you 40. I don't think Hubba's got enough in the tank, so I will take Paul in the cover. Next game, we got Daryl and the Dreamcocks. Yahoo thinks it's going to be close. They got the Dreamcocks favored by 5 currently. Now Dreamcocks got a huge game from fucking Tucker Kraft, whatever the fuck his name is, for Green Bay. Gave him 21 points, so that skewed the numbers a little bit, but it happened. So you got to look at it. You got 7 from McLaurin as well. Matchup wise, Nico again. The CJ Stroud just doesn't have time to throw deep. He really doesn't have time to do anything. So the Nico, I think, is going to continue to hurt him. I do love Alvin Kamara, especially against the Niners. Brock Purdy's not playing. I'm pretty sure he's not playing. So the Saints are going to have a lot of opportunities to run the ball, plus throw it out of the backfield. So I think Kamara's a big play here. Other than that, looking at the squads, Caleb Williams is kind of I think he might be bad. I'm not sure. He definitely paints his nails. But I do like the Mahomes play over that. I think, he's going to show up and play well against Philly. Their offense isn't great, so Mahomes is going to have to do a lot. So, you know what? I'm going to take the upset. I'm going to take Daryl over to Dreamcocks again. He got 21 for Tucker Kraft. I don't think he has anyone else in the team that's going to ball out like that this week. So I think Daryl sneaks in there and steals one. Next up, we got the Lion King and Phil. Right now, Yahoo's projecting a very close game, 117 to 115 for Phil's what they're projecting. I think Phil has a bounce back. Joe Burrow is not playing Cleveland. That's a good sign. He got 14 from Jacobs already. That's also very good. But Jeff got 11 from McManus. And, if he can get a bounce back game from Bo Nix, I think Jeff takes this because I like the matchups. Ted McMillan is sneaky. I know he's not. He was, I think, the number 1 receiver taken in the draft this year in the actual NFL draft. But A-Chain's going to be big. If Connor has another decent game and Bo Nix rebounds, I think Jeff pulls it off. Javonte Williams isn't doing what he did last week. And just for that alone, the Javonte bullshit, I'm taking Jeff. Jeff's going to cover. Jeff with the upset. I think Bo Nix rebounds, has 20 to 25 point game. And I think A-Chain maybe gets a touchdown or 2 because there's not a ton going on in Miami other than A-Chain. So I will take Jeff over Phil. All right, so we got Tyler and Mike. Mike has the chance to do the funniest thing until next week when Tyler goes 0-3. But right now, Yahoo has Mike as the favorite. Tyler starting CJ Stroud. I've already told you twice. CJ Stroud's good. His offensive line's ass cake, just fucking ass freaks. So he's not gonna. And Lamar's going to play well against Cleveland. Now, the game's going to be close. That's the other thing. Like the Ravens are 11.5-point favorites. Smash the Browns to cover. They split most years, and every time they don't, I mean, even when the Ravens beat us, it's close. It's never 2 touchdowns, ever. I don't know about ever, but recently it's not 2 touchdowns. So I do love the Browns to cover that 11.5, but Lamar's going to play well. My wife's fucking – who makes frozen pizza and sets off the smoke alarm every time? It's a brand new oven. We just bought a $1,000 oven. She's already fucking burning pizza. I don't know if you heard that or not, but smoke alarm's going off. Back to Mike beating Tyler. Jamar's going to bounce back because he's not playing the Browns, so he will get some points there. Bucky, I mean, Tyler really should win, but if Kelsey gets a touchdown and Hubbard and Barkley play good again, Lamar's going to do enough. I am going to take Mike to make Tyler 0-2. And then rolling down to Niall and Paul. Niall got a good start from Jaden Daniels. I'm sorry, Niall and Eric, my bad. Jaden Daniels gave him 23. Eric also started Commander, which was Bill, and then got 1.7 points. So Niall's favored to win by 13. I think he doubled it. I think he goes higher. I think Niall's going to beat him by 20. He's got Parasol in his lineup without Brock Purdy. Let me double check. Is Brock Purdy playing today? I think he's out.
The Giants will play the Cowboys today at 1 p.m.
Let's see here. Let's see what fucking
Seahawks will take
Google
on the
says.
Steelers at 1 p.m. The Rams will take on the Titans at 1 p.m.
Well, it doesn't say. I think he's out. But either way, having Parasol and he's projected to score 12 points, I don't think it's happening. But Eric just got nothing from his running backs. Ginty, he needs a big game from Judy, which against the Ravens defense isn't super likely. I like the tight ends better. Matchup-wise for the Browns, I think Njoku has a good game and possibly Fannin will probably score more than Judy. Although it's Flacco revenge game, he might throw it down the field. We'll just have to see. I don't love Kyler Murray on a week-to-week basis. So looking at the matchups here, he does got Njoku, which I think he'll get more than the 8 points. And you got to get more out of A.J. Brown this week, but he's matched up against Emeka in the flex. So I love you, Eric, but I got to take Niall, and I think Niall beats you by 20+. All right, last game of the week. So myself and Al, Yahoo likes Al, so I got Judkins on my bench. I told you to run Judkins in your parlay to get paid. It's 11:45. As of right now, he's not in my lineup, but the finger's getting itchy. But let's talk about all the other matchups. Josh Allen's going to have another 30-plus game. He's going to outduel Drake May, so I'm going to be good there. Justin Jefferson, steady Eddie. He's going to give me 15, no problem there. Malik Neighbors, he's great, but he's got Russell Wilson, so I'm going to win that matchup. Ladd McConkey's going to run free in the secondary again, and this time Justin Herbert's going to hit him at least once in the end zone. So where the matchups favor Al is with the running backs. I do like Omarion Hampton, but last week they fucking passed all the time, so you just don't know. So I like the matchup against the Colts, but it's just a matter. Like I said last week, we got to get Harbaugh back to his roots of being a scumbag that just likes to run the ball. But Derrick Henry will have one touchdown. I don't think he's going to have over 100 yards though with the Browns D. So I'm projecting up 86 yards and a touchdown, so about 15 points, which is less than what Yahoo's projecting. Etienne's the only running back really left in Jacksonville, so I think Al's good there. And this is where I need to decide. I got RJ Harvey in the lineup. When RJ Harvey got the ball, he looked great, but he's splitting with JK. I got Judkins on the bench. I think Judkins is going to get the goal line touches. But how many goal line touches are the Browns going to have? That's the question. So as of now, I've got RJ in the play, so I'm going to take Etienne over RJ. Tight ends, basically a watch. I picked up Johnson. He's got Tyler Warren, which is backup. We don't know really about Tyler Warren yet, so I think that's a wash. The flex is where it's going to be big for this game. I got Tyreek Hill, which should be a killer flex, but it's the Dolphins, and it's just not working. So I'm not super pumped about that matchup, by any matchup with the Dolphins. But I think that Josh Allen's going to play so well and that Conkey is going to give me close to 20 that I will beat Al. Al right now is favored by 5. I think I beat Al by 7 or 8. So that's going to make me 2-0, and that puts the league on notice once Judkins is 100% and ready to go and rolling, which is probably next week, full time. It's going to be scary. So those are the matchups for this week. I didn't keep track about North South. I'll track that. I'll try to track that each week, when I do the wrap up. So that's everything for this week. Let's do everything we can to make Tyler lose every game so he learns. This is going to be not just for Tyler. Yes, it's fucking hilarious. It's Tyler, of all people. It's hilarious that it's happening to Tyler. But this has to be a warning to any other puss that's like, week 4, week 5, I'm not doing well. I'm just going to trade my team and fucking sit back and wait till next year. That's no fun. It fucks the other people in the league over, makes you a pussy. Don't be that guy. And this is why. You get 2 1s and 2 2s, and you still don't even know if you're going to win. So don't be like Tyler's the moral of the story. And Mike, do us all a favor and show us why. But that's what I got for this week. So until next week, go Browns, flack around and find out. And until next time, keep it faux real, faux life.